Welcome to Via The Grapevine, proudly brought to you by Tony DaCosta of Liquor City, Claremont, and offering you the chance to learn more about wine, the masters behind them, and even which wines to collect. If you didn't know, my name's McDonald. My great privilege to host this, and my guest today is Narina Cloete, winemaker at one of the original Stellenbosch wine estates and one of South Africa's oldest wine farms, founded in 1682 by Gerrit, Jansz, Visser. It is, of course, Blaauwklippen. Welcome, Narina. Lovely to see you.
Thanks for having me, Guy.
Our reason for chatting today is an exciting new release that pays homage to more than 300 years of wine history and the distinctive blue-gray granite that gave the farm its original name, the Blaauwe Klip 2017. Tell us about this wine. How did it come about, and why another Bordeaux blend?
Yeah, Guy, basically we did the Blaauwe Klip because we originally had a Bordeaux style blend at Blaauwklippen, and that slowly but surely it got renamed, and yeah, it got almost, let's say, lost. But yes, definitely a Bordeaux style blend is one of those blends that the consumer out there, they know what it is. So it's not kind of weird blend. So it's a classic blend that you can almost always rely on for a certain style and quality as a consumer. And we are sitting in this region, golden triangle of Stellenbosch, which is premium red wine country, especially Cabernet. And yeah, this blend is majority also Cabernet in the end. So it was almost just logic to go to the point. We are situated here. It's one of the classic wine styles. South Africa is good with it. So yeah, to be on there and take it back to pay homage to where we are situating and our history as well.
And so to the roots of this wine, talk us through the terroir of each cultivar in here.
Okay, basically the spots or the pockets where the Cabernet, the Malbec and the Merlot are planted are close together, almost the same terroir. They're a little bit more closer, almost, let's call it, to neighboring farms, Stellenbosch, Stellenbosch, more to the Helderberg side. So you've got decomposed granite soils everywhere, but that's a bit more sandy, bit of low potential. And all of those are narrow spacing of the vineyards. And then the Cabernet Franc and the Petit Verdot is more, a little bit more clay in the soil, also decomposed granite, more here too close to the neighboring Paradijskloof area. Yeah, so you get these rich soils in pockets, and you just get this really nice ripening. You get the ocean breezes coming in during the harvest period for ripening. And 2017 was just one of those vintages where it worked for us as well. And also to launch at the first vintage is actually exciting.
I believe the cultivars were hand-picked as well.
Yeah, hand-picked. Everything is hand-picked. And there are also, it's not, as we say in Afrikaans, a sampler. So all the pockets are fermented separately, all the cultivars fermented separately, matured separately in barrel, and then close to blend time. This blend spent around about 16 months in barrel, if I remember correctly, and then close to blend bottling time, made up the bench blends, then blended them together with different sections or blocks, and yeah, bottled it from there. If it was only that easy, but that's basically it.
You make it sound easy, but we know that there's obviously a lot more challenges that happen. I want to get into the tasting of this wine. For me, it's
I've already got my glass also poured here.
My favorite part of Via The Grapevine. And I must warn you though, my wife just made toast in the house. So far the only thing I can smell is burnt toast at the moment. So I don't know. Yeah, I'm getting burnt toast on.
Lots of oak. What we try to do this wine, or what I try to do, is really getting those classical berry fruit aromas then with layers. So for me, the profile is definitely those layers of dark fruit, cassis, more red fruit as well. There's definitely red fruit as well. And then there's layers of chocolate and spice coming through from the oak, etc. So, and toast. For you, probably.
Luckily, the fruit is really making itself known, and as you say, that dark chocolate as well. It is beautiful on the nose. A lot of fuss, and you mentioned it a little bit earlier as well, about how good 2017 was for all cultivars, be it white or red. So with this wine, being a 2017, does it require storage? do we drink it now? And if it does require storage, to your mind, how long should you keep it for?
Look, definitely you can definitely cellar this. For now, it's drinkable. This is already almost bottle aged for 2 years since bottling. So it's already quite smoothed out and bottled already. It is definitely a bigger style wine. So the person or the consumer that likes a more easy drinking wine, this will probably be a bit more too big at the moment. But definitely it's drinkable at the moment. Otherwise, we wouldn't release it. But looking at the wine, okay, I know the analysis in the back of my mind as well, and the tannin structure, etc. This wine is easily a 15 to 20 year cellaring wine. It's, as I said, it's made as a big classical red wine that must have aging potential. But now we're selling wines early and early as possible, then yes, it must also be drinkable now. It's a bit tricky on the winemaking side to get that ready, but no, yeah, and as 2017 is looking like a superb vintage, that's just an add-on that it's our first vintage for this new release, and it's a 2017.
So the key would be buy at least 2 bottles, 1 to drink now and 1 for storage, which is what you very kindly did. You sent me 2. I think you only meant to send 1, but I got 2. So 1 is already in the wine fridge behind, and safe vandag.
You know, I usually say buy a case, drink a case, or save a case for later. So I almost talk in cases already. So yeah, definitely the idea would be buy some, but also sell us some. I usually for myself, buy some wine, drink them as it goes now through the years and stuff, but I definitely sell in my wines just to see, even if you open one, if you, depending on your stock, open 1 bottle a year just to see how it goes for interest's sake. Then you also follow a wine and you also learn from it as a personal consumer. It doesn't matter if you're a winemaker or a consumer. It's just interesting to see how a wine can evolve.
I love that. That is a fantastic tip. And I really think that's a brilliant idea, something that I haven't actually pursued. I often, and Hector is with you on this, he's always saying, York, buy a case of wine, tell us how many cases you want. And I say, but Hector, some people don't have money for a case of wine. Maybe we should be saying to people, no, they can buy 2 bottles of each. But you're spot on, buy a case, and then for the next however many years you decide to split it up, open a bottle per year and see how its development. So that's a brilliant idea. I want to ask, you know, obviously a beautiful Bordeaux blend like this is perfect for this time of the year as well. And what food would you recommend serving this with or pairing it with? Because I'm thinking it would go very well with a nice stew, like a meat stew of sorts. But definitely. What's your preference?
Definitely stew would be perfect, but then our South African braai will also work. But something with venison or your bigger, almost your red meat dishes. Don't want to go the classical thing, but this is just not going to go with fish. The poor wine and the poor fish, this is just not going to work at all. So your bigger, richest, let's call it, say, meat dishes. And then also what I like about this wine is, as you said, it's winter months and the evening in front of the fire. This is also a nice savoring wine with a couple of like harder, your more mature cheddars, etc. It will also go really well with that. But as I said, it's a wine that you can talk about it. There's layers to it. And as I'm drinking it now, smelling it again, there's almost more, how can I say it? Almost more like even though it's straight, I almost get like a cinnamon, bit of a black pepper spice, which is almost lets you sound like Syrah, but this doesn't have any Syrah in it. But you get the layers of spice coming now through as well. So it's definitely, it's opening up all the time. And I've opened up my bottle already just after 9. So it's already open for an hour and it's still beautiful. So
just looking
at they can even decant it.
Looking at the percentage blend, and obviously you and I have been through quite a lot of blends with the Blaauwklippen blending competition. What would you say is forefront at the nose? You've said Syrah now, which is obviously not in here. That's like hints of that coming through. But in terms of the overall nose of this wine, for those that are really pedantic about that sort of thing, what would you say they'd pick up the most of?
Look, definitely looking at the blend, it's 38 Cabernet Sauvignon, 24 Merlot, 14.5 Cabernet Franc, 14.5 Malbec, and then 9 Petit Verdot. So definitely looking at that, if you add the Cabernet Sauvignon and Cabernet Franc together, that will be your majority, almost over 50% of the blend. So you definitely get the fruit from the Cabernet and almost very careful to say this word, let's call it the herbaceousness, but not the greenish. You get the Cabernet and the Cabernet Sauvignon character in it. So that's why I would say I think the spice comes probably from the wood, the oak it received, and it, like I said, it spent 16 months, if I remember correctly, in barrel. So that's probably there from the spice where that's coming from. So definitely, I think that you get the Cabernet definitely first, and then almost the softening of the tannins will come from our Malbec and the Merlot. And really, if I remember our 2018 Malbec on its and 17 Malbec on its own, it was beautiful. Our 2017 Malbec is already sold out. Our 2018 Malbec is sold out. We're moving to the 2019 now, if we can sell alcohol again. So remembering how Malbecs are also just this fruit bomb which supports the rest with these great tannins. And great tannins actually mean not big tannins, I mean softer tannins. So that I would say you definitely get those Cabernet characteristics in the forefront, and then you get the support from the Malbec and the Merlot. And then in the back, you've got Petit Verdot, which is just one of those big cultivars. I remember just for fun when I did blend trials, so the second one is the Merlot in the blending composition. I switched the Merlot and the Petit Verdot around, and it was like, oh, not working. Just to change those two, same percentage, just swap it around. I just remember it now, just to say how, as you said, with the blending competitions we've done together, it's one change and it's total different.
Yeah. Let's chat a little bit about the estate now. I've heard via the grapevine that the winds of change are blowing across the estate, and that you've pared down the wide wine offering that you used to have to be more focused. I hope that doesn't mean the end of your famous Zinfandel. Tell us a bit more about what's happening.
Okay, basically what we had a bit of winds of change, as you said, Blue, what's it, like 3 years ago or so. We had a change of ownership and stuff, and from the start it was getting a bit more focused. Our range was quite big, so many different tiers, and as you said, not focused. So in the end, what we decided to do, I'm just going to quickly run you through the range. We will still make the Zinfandel based MCC. It's doing really well, so we are definitely carrying on with that, and I actually trying to keeping it longer and longer on the lees to give that extra quality for the consumer, because the time on the lees and bottle, it just gives such an extra dimension to the wine. So then we've got the MCC from Zinfandel, and we still have the White Zin or the Blanc de Noir from Zinfandel in the range. And we've got a Sauvignon Blanc, which is tank fermented, really nice summer wine. That's the new vintage 2020, is already bottled 2 weeks ago, label it, waiting to start selling it. Really nice, more going for the profile of green figs, a bit of tropical fruit and a bit of grass, but almost that green free gooseberry, that aroma profile, I can say it that way. And then we're also doing a Chenin now for the first time. It's also tank fermented, so that and the Sauvignon will more be our 2 summer wines with a Blanc de Noir. And then on the red side, we still make the Zinfandel on its own, the red wine. And we know we haven't dropped it. And when you've got, as I said earlier, the Malbec, one of our best sellers. Malbec, we do a straight Malbec, we do a straight Syrah, and then straight Cabernet Sauvignon, and now this blend. So that's on the wine side. And then we've got some brandy and aperitif and gins, let's call it our specialities or other liquor products. That's
so you're still offering those. And will you still be offering the BBC, the Blaauwe Klip blending competition?
Yes, that's still going on. We would have sent out the blending packs to the clubs last week, but we couldn't send it out now due to the restrictions. But hopefully, it will still happen this year. I'll still be in contact with you to come and help with the judging again. No, definitely. At this point in time, we just want to see when we can send the sample packs out and then give the clubs, say, at least a month. So probably it will only, we usually do that, what was it, September, October? September. I would estimate this will be then November, maybe December. So it'll be late in the year. See if we can squeeze it in somewhere. It will be the 37th year, so we don't want to stop it now. It would be sad.
Although one wonders if we're not just going to wipe 2020 off the calendar completely, and then you don't lose the year. I think we need to
No,
do
but
that.
the sad thing is the 2020 vintage is looking so promising. So in the one sense, I want to wipe 2020. In the other sense, no, the wines are looking like 2019 was a very difficult year for us on that side. So coming out of 2019 from a wine perspective to getting 2020, which is these massive, dark but still soft wines. Yeah, it will be sad. I don't want to wipe that off 2020. So.
I was very impressed by your accommodation offering when we got to stay at the Manor House after the Blending Awards last year, and that's also been joined by quite a dramatic venue function as well, hasn't it?
Yeah, we call it the cathedral. It's basically a tent at the back as you walk out of the Manor House or the Jonkershuis over the Werf, and you see there's almost an open field which I put out the structure. If I remember, the functions mustn't be on my case now. I think it can seat up to 200 people, not 100% sure. Yeah, so that offering is there. And then we also, at this point in time, they're busy bulldozing, renovating. We are almost doing a new layout for the restaurant, the tasting room, and the whole market area. So there's coming a new, there's a farm deli that's going to be open every day or the week, 7 to 8. And then look at the market will still be going, but we're going more permanent structures in between. So yeah, this we're hoping to get finished by September, October this year. So come this summer, hopefully when everybody can get out, we'll have a nice new face to show on that side as well.
So still lots of reasons to visit the estate when we finally can again and enjoy a delicious lunch. I think one of the best things about your bistro was enjoying the antics of the baby goats in the paddock next door. So I'm looking forward to that. Just to wrap, we've got quick fire questions for you.
Okay.
Don't think too deeply about these, Narina. Just first answer that comes to mind.
Okay, so not winemaking questions.
Well, the first two are related, and they're nasty. They stinkers. But just like I say, the first thing that pops into your mind, go with that. And we'll start with favorite grape variety to farm.
Cabernet Sauvignon.
Beautiful. You see, favorite variety to drink.
Okay, there's white and red. Red
Yes,
Cabernet Sauvignon, white Chardonnay.
Brilliant. I knew we had something in common, the Chardonnay thing.
Oi.
Bush or beach?
Beach.
Barefoot or veldskoen with no socks?
Rather than barefoot.
I think I've seen you in veldskoen with no socks though.
No. I will have socks in, not without socks, no.
And picnic or braai?
Yeah, that's difficult. Probably braai, I don't know. It's 50-50 depending what time of day and year of the year it is.
And it depends on who's doing all the work. So if the picnic's been done for you, you'll go with that.
Yeah, exactly.
Or the braai. Awesome. Well, get along to Liquor City Claremont to buy Blaauwklippen wines. And if you fancy your luck, then you can answer the easy question here via the Grapevine page. Tag 2 people and share it. You tell us who you would share. And you could win. What could you win, Narina?
A case. 6 bottles of the Blaauwe Klip.
Phenomenal. A case of 6 the
Blaauwe
Blaauwe
free
Klip.
for celery.
Yes, indeed. And obviously delivery will be after lockdown. So yeah, something to look forward to. Narina, Cloete, thank you very much for your time and energy today. And I wish you the best of success with this new release.
Thank you.
And this Via the Grapevine, of course, was brought to you by Liquor City Claremont. Visit their wine emporium for a journey via the Grapevine.